Hello, I'm Blue, and welcome to my new series on my channel called Study With Me, where I'll show you the art studies I've done over the course of a week or a month, whether that be anatomy studies, painting studies, or concept studies, etc. This year I really want to improve my art and go out of my comfort zone, so that's probably what these studies are going to be focused on. For this video, I'll be focusing on anatomy study and sketching, since that's an area where I feel like I have the most trouble and I'm the most weak at. So over the course of a week, I study every day on anatomy and sketching. Now I do warn you that this video is not very scripted. I ramble a lot. It's basically just a voiceover, and I'm not giving a tutorial on what I'm doing. I'm more just being like, oh, I figured this out and I figured that out, and you can like watch me do the anatomy studies, since like not a lot of people show how they do studies, and yeah, I thought it would be pretty interesting. Enjoy! So first thing I start off with is a test run. Now I'm using reference for these sketches, and I'll be showing them on the side over here if I still have the reference, or if I did use them, I will like specify if I've used them in like these kind of areas. So I started off with these sketches, and I was just really looking at where my weak points were and where I felt like I could improve. First weak point that I figured out, and like I've been very aware of for a while, is I have the tendency to draw heads disproportionate from the rest of the body, along with not knowing the chest area too well, so I always find myself resizing these later in the drawing or at the start of the drawing, and I'd really like to be able to place them down without having to resize them so drastically. Second weak point for me are legs and feet. Attaching legs to the torso and having the feet not look broken or at a weird angle is something that I really struggle with, and I normally don't draw them. Especially without reference, I cannot attach the legs to the torso. I think it's the crotch area that I really struggle with, so that's something I'd be paying more attention to in this study session. And last thing I want to focus on is being able to put down the figure with a better sketch. My style overall is very sketchy, but I do spend a long time on anatomy. Because like I'm stubborn and I don't use reference sometimes, which makes the sketch look really messy, and then I spend a really long time cleaning up, and I'd like to be able to like lay down the anatomy without focusing so much on cleaning up later. So just more confident sketches. So the first study I decided to do or give a hand at was gesture drawing. Now I've done figure drawing and gesture drawing in the past. If you don't know what gesture drawing, or you can call it figure drawing, is, it's redrawing a pose using the flow of the body instead of over concentrating on detail of the anatomy. So like if you're drawing an arm, you're going to concentrate on where the arm is flowing rather than concentrating on the muscles. I do use gesture drawing at the start of like a sketch to be able to figure out how the pose is going to flow. Although this was a very interesting study to try, this wasn't really what I wanted to practice over this week, so I'll leave gesture drawing or figure drawing for another video, for another like study session. Yes, it was pretty interesting. Now on to the next study. I had a lot of trouble getting the hang of the torso and the feet, like obviously because like, it was my weak spot. So I hopped straight into trying to dissect the torso. I redrew the torso how I always would draw them. Although these shapes make sense, I do feel like it is still a very weak spot for me. So like it makes sense, but it doesn't really complete. It doesn't feel complete to me. Like I'm still struggling to be able to draw this shape in different angles and different positions. And adding it to a full body is something I can't do. So I will leave that for another time. I'm just gonna hop right into the feet. I have no clue what I'm doing. Like, as you can see with this example, like I understand the shape of the feet, but I do not know how to attach them or how to like have them be in a full body figure. I'm using reference here of like different shoes. So I am trying to figure out like the form and like how it attaches to the angle. I'm not clicking it for some reason. Like I feel like I'm still stuck in the, I don't know what that was. I'm still stuck in it looking very awkward. Like you can't tell me these shoes don't look a tiny bit on the awkward side. At this point I just give up and I move to something else. So I found references where the models had their legs out, and I focused on them and I was just redrawing them. If you're interested in leg poses and you'd like to find reference to that, I really suggest dancers or ballerinas. They always have really interesting leg poses, and they always wear really tight clothing or really short clothing, which really helps you see the shape of the leg a lot better. As you watch me draw, it's very obvious that I don't really know how the feet should be working, but overall I was very happy with how these studies came out. You'll notice as I draw, I am focusing a lot on shape and form. For my art style, I focus on shapes, and that's kind of how I sketch. So every body part is like a shape, whether it be a cylinder or a square or just something like that. I have an entire video about form. It's on my channel somewhere. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing here. It looks very complicated, but it's just basically just a bunch of shapes. Maybe I'll do a tutorial on how to break down body parts into shapes that you can understand, and I really want to do a tutorial on how to use reference, because I know a lot of people struggle with using reference and they don't know how to break it down and really study it. So yeah, that's something I hope to do this year. So at this point, I had been drawing for 3 days and I was getting a bit burnt out, so I took a break. And then when I came back, it was like a breath of fresh air. I decided to try a new brush with less pressure sensitivity, and everything just clicked so well. I decided to retake the torso with reference and visualizing the shapes and space, and it came a lot easier after the break for some reason. And something that really helped me is I used statues as reference for these, and it helped me so much with coming up with better shapes to define the torso. Like, look at these look great. So overall with this study, I'm not sure if like because of the muscle, I can see the muscle definition with the statue, but it really helped. And I plan to do this again in the future, maybe with faces, since like the statues that like I've seen, they have really good facial structure, so maybe I'll try this again in the future. Yeah, so overall I was very happy with the break, and I was very happy with how these ones came out. With my newfound confidence and brush, I decided to tackle drawing poses from references, and the new way of drawing torsos really allowed me to start with the head and not have much resizing to do later on, so I'm very happy with that. Now these are done with references, so when I draw them from memory, the groundwork is going to be a lot messier, so I probably still use like gesture drawing. I will do a video about gesture drawing since it's very fun, but that's for later. These look really good now because of the reference, but I'm sure with practice I'll be able to like get to the point where I don't need reference as heavily as I need now to be able to like create perfect anatomy. Or, you know, perfect, but like on the verge of looking okay. You know, like quick look, you look at it fast and it looks good. If you stare at it, yeah, it just kind of looks messed up. Yeah, like that. Something that I've learned with like doing so many anatomy studies and just redrawing of reference is I've learned to draw the shapes of like the body without having to individually draw the shape. So when I like draw the arm, I don't necessarily draw a cylinder. I can visualize what the cylinder is going to look like and then put it down without having to draw it. I hope that makes sense. This is done just by repetition, like drawing cylinders over and over and over and over again, that after a while you kind of like, I know what this is going to look like, so when I put it down, it's, you know, put down like how I'm drawing the fingers here. I don't need to draw each finger as a cylinder. I know what they look like, so it's easier to put down, you know. That's why when artists say practice makes perfect, it's literally just drawing the same boring thing over and over and over again until like it becomes muscle memory. And with these studies, that's kind of what I'm hoping to accomplish, is have proportions be muscle memory. I don't really need to concentrate too much on anatomy and sketching, and I can quickly put down figures onto paper. And yeah, that's kind of what my goal was for this. I'm very happy with how things have gone so far. Like all of these are obviously done with heavy referencing but hopefully at the end of the year I'll be able to draw like this without reference. Well, I'm hoping. I have to put the work in to be able to do that, but yeah. And you don't always need to do like really serious references. Like I stumbled into the side of Pinterest where it's like really wacky Stutterstock? I'm probably saying that wrong. Stutterstock images, and they were just really goofy to draw. Like you don't always have to use like super serious references with like chiseled abs and like muscles out and stuff like that. You can do something with like goofy like I'm doing here. Yeah, and overall the lack of pressure on my brush for some reason really helped. I know every artist is different, and some artists really like to be able to draw with like lots of pressure, and that helps them like figure out the sketch better. But giving the lack of pressure a try really helped me like shape out. Like I'm concentrating less on the sketch and more on the shape and the spaces in between. Overall, I'm very happy with the week study, and I'm a little bit more confident with my anatomy and sketching, but I still do need a lot of work and a lot of studies, so I'll probably come back to this topic like throughout the year. So happy New Year's. Happy New Year's. I hope everybody has a lovely 2023, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.